Like a ghost in my head.
What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about the Aether Strikers, the new weapon in Dauntless, and mostly how it helps Dauntless in a really good way. The Aether Strikers are a melee weapon with a high amount of stagger damage that have the second highest attack speed, I would say. Now, the thing about the Aether Strikers and how it helps Dauntless is that before the Aether Strikers came out, the top weapon undoubtedly was the hammer, because it did heavy damage, it staggered, it did more damage, it staggered, more damage, staggered, and so on and so forth. Most fights that you get into endgame, if you didn't have a good hammer player and you were mostly noobs at the game, you would be stuck. Now, with the Aether Strikers, I feel like that's no longer mostly necessary. And no, the Aether Strikers won't take the hammer's place. They kind of help other, they kind of help other things get help. Or they kind of help other weapons out and let other weapons do what other weapons are supposed to do. Now, you're probably wondering why. I mean, they're like the same thing as the hammer. Now, the hammer is a little different. With the hammer, all you needed was one combo, jump, and then Aether Slam. Now, with that one combo, which was undoubtedly the only combo out of like 2 different combos, it was simple, fast, and most of the time it just killed the behemoth. It was like, hey, other weapons stand back, let me do me. But with the Aether Strikers, we now have like the hammers a lot faster, but a lot more supportive too. I can play Aether Strikers and help out my team by letting them do raw damage to the behemoth without actually being the most damaging thing to it, if that makes sense. Now, I can boop just like any other weapon, and like the hammer, I'm good against like Skarn, which I think is not like the only thing, but like I'm good against Skarn. I can break his like plaid plating if me and the hammer work at it, or just me works at it. But not only that, if I go for the head with my normal attacks or any other type of attacks, I can easily just knock the monster out, back and back and back and back. Now, the thing that makes this weapon a lot more, I would say, supportive than the hammer is that even though the combos might be, technical, the weapon itself really isn't. Now, what I do, which isn't the full all be all, now, I suck at these, but this is just what I do. I use a normal attack power up. Then I get to my next attack, but I never use my light attack then 2 heavies. I almost never use that until I'm trying to deal out big damage. I'll either use a light attack, then charge up into a heavy, into a light, so that I can hit him with a DOT, and then just keep trying to like stagger him. And then when he's down, I'll go into a full combo. I'll just keep repeating that process. Now, I know that's not the way to do it. Don't hammer me in the comments. But that's how I learned how to do it for myself. And it could also help new players. You don't have to worry about adding all your mantras and then pulling off the big hit. Just, hit the monster with a small combo in the face, or any body part that you want to. Charge up. Then go back at it with a heavy combo for its face or any body part that you want, and then try to hit a light combo because they'll be a lot faster, and then just hit them with the DOT, and then you can play a little bit more passively and try to go for just its head, because it's going to take damage over time throughout its whole body. And with that damage over time, you don't really have to worry about always trying to do as much damage to it as you need to straight away. And then also, it can boot behemoths, like I saw with Embermane, just knock them out. That's why it's good to go for the head. No, this weapon is, I would say, one of the best ones. It's probably the best weapon in Monster Hunter, because even with a noob like me playing at it, so far, there's only been like 3 missions where I haven't killed the monster in the very first stage. Very rarely. Rezakiri was a fucking pain for me. When I fought Rezakiri with some other players, Rezakiri turned out to be a lot easier than it was last time. And I'll show you my build. Now, don't think that my build is a full power, gonna kill you really fast build. It's actually not. My build is a full defense with Knockout King and Overpowered, so that I can survive until I knock it out, and when I knock it out, I can do some hefty damage for my team. But it's not the end all be all damage output set. It's actually a good support set. But with the addition of the Aether Strikers and the Dauntless, I feel like it gives a lot of players the chance to actually show out their abilities. Like, with me knocking out a monster every so and then, it gives slow moving weapons like hammer and, you know, axe to really pull out that damage. And with me knocking out his head, it gives hammer a lot easier time without having to run after it and do this and do that. All it has to do is just help me with knocking out its head, which would go down a lot more. Dual blades and Warpike like can now be a lot more useful, because when I knock out a monster, they can like specifically target a certain part that they're trying to, you know, wound or break or damage without having to run all over the place. And then with swords can just go all out in whatever part they want to, because it's knocked out. Now you could play this solo, and if you play the solo, you probably like just give it some time, and I bet you that this weapon will be in the top areas. Now I'm gonna show you my build here in a second after we kill this Skarn, which dies now. No, not now. Wait. Boom. There you go. A Titan Crash does a lot of damage, I'll tell you. I think I only used it twice. Now, I use the Hellion Strikers with 2 mods on them. I use the Knockout King and Overpowered. Like I said, I want to knock the monster out and then do some damage while it's knocked out. I use the Skarn Helmet with 9 lives. Then I use the Nasher gloves and chest piece. The chest piece has Iceborne on it. The gloves have the extra Knockout King, which I use. And then I use the Boreas feet with a Cunning Cell. Now you could switch that out, but crits do help. And I use the Skarn Defiance with Aetheric Attunement, just because